Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Conrad Hillen, and my topic today is recognizing cultural differences and acknowledging cultural orientations. I will start with the normal introduction on this topic. So, a cultural orientation is an inclination to think, feel, or act in a way that is culturally determined. It defines the basis of difference among cultures, such as self-identity, interpersonal relationship, communication, resolving conflict. So cultural orientations are not black and white, and they are the most important as it aids an individual to explore different cultures that are there in the world. It gives to give a good exposure, experience, and makes people aware of what is happening around the globe. Getting aware of cultures and their practices can help one to improvise his or her skills, and ultimately it also broadens the overall mentality of a person. So how cultural differences affects international businesses? Well, each country has its own way of interaction, and it is highly imperative to understand each other culture to build a strong relationship and trust. During business meetings, like Chinese prefers to spend time together in a dining table while sharing a drink or eating, yeah. So, however, other countries such as the USA does not consider having drinks with their potential business partners. Another aspect is comfort of silence. Some of the countries such as France, Italy, and the USA get comfortable when there are few seconds of quietness while having business deals. But on the other hand, Asian countries have high level of silence and does not feel awkward and conversations stop for a while. So what are the four major areas which are affected by cultural differences when having global business deals? This can be communication, interaction, hierarchy, and this last one is etiquette. So effective communication, like let's see what communication is. So effective communication directly relates to overall business growth and success. Although English is one of the common language that is used for international business deals, it is not necessary that all the foreign delegates will be able to converse professionally in English. So associates who have the language of their target markets always have an upper hand, of course. And both parties must know how the next person delivers his language and what do they mean. Like in India, people usually communicate in indirect ways. Friends in opposite choose to be direct and clear in their statement. And apart from verbal communication, it is equally important to understand non-verbal communication when making international business deals. So second is interaction. It depends from country to country. Like kissing, it can, yeah. So while doing business with other countries, executives must know how their business partners prefer to interact. Like kissing people on hand or on cheek, making strong eye contact, and firm handshakes might be offensive or strange for another foreign agents or partners. And it is key to analyze body language and reactions of people you're dealing with. The third is etiquette. The etiquette is something this lays great emphasis on how to perform when surrounded by people from other cultural backgrounds. Again, I'm just gonna differ countries. In few cultures, it is fine to address people by their first name. In contrary, some cultures tend to use the last name of the person while calling them. Like Americans and Canadians often use first names when they meet new acquaintances, but Asians generally add Mr. and Miss on people's last names while dealing with business partners. Again, so punctuality is another aspect which is relative. People from USA, South Korea, Japan, Russia never gets late on their business meetings and expects the same from their partners, while Germans usually arrive 10 minutes early from their appointment time, and in China it is tolerable to come 10 minutes late. But for Mexican, it is quite normal if they even come late, like if they are late like 30 minutes for the meeting. So the next is oh yeah, the last one, fourth is hierarchy in the organization. So cultural customs impose how attitude towards organizational chain of command and management are recognized. But there are countries where it is hard to express opinions or questions decisions made by managerial staff. Attitudes is highly reliant on the social values of a country. Countries such as Japan and South Korea respect all the elders and persons having high position in an organization. Managers of these countries often expect deference from their junior staff. Now we can talk about benefits of understanding and learning different cultures. Well, the major benefit it is helps in understanding the world better, which broadens the mindset of individuals. Parents can ask their children to go for summer camps, which will help them become a better person in future, as they will always have a chance to interact with children who have distinct cultural backgrounds. The second could be understanding cultural differences. Um, and it helps in mitigating stereotypes set by societies. At the point when the youngsters find about individuals and their various societies, they will be less inclined to group them, relying upon generalizations. Third is cultural knowledge is, of course, enriches active communication. Like language is a basic piece of human correspondence, and culture improves correspondence growingly. For example, it sets the tone how speakers should communicate with people having different cultural background. It also sets the speed. Fourth is general prospect to connect with new people. And again, for example, partaking in various festivals, going to camps, visiting individuals from different societies, honoring special occasions, social gatherings. All such things helps people to connect with more individuals in their daily life and learn about their cultures while building a strong relationship or friendship. The last one is the second last is gives experience to new skills and capabilities while stimulating the mind. But cultural knowledge will give an insight on how to perform activities with different thoughts, process, and methods. The last is it helps to end misunderstanding between cultures. Lots of issues can emerge from misconceptions, particularly on the grounds that we live in a multicultural world. But discovering and recognizing various groups, one can realize why individuals do things the manner in which they do. Each culture has different ways of approaching things, and the reactions are often different. So this will give us a better understanding on how to acknowledge other cultures as well. Okay, so how does culture impact your family, and companions' viewpoint on relationship, character traits, accomplishment, and communication feelings? But for relationships, culture impacts how you go into look after connections you have made with other. For instance, connection might be viewed as intentional or as an obligation based. Character traits. Culture impacts whether and how you esteem qualities like modesty, confidence, pleasantness, and decisiveness. While few cultures do not hesitate to take help from others, there are some societies which are self-dependent and independent and considers not to take help from others. Third one is accomplishment. Culture impacts how you characterize achievements and whether you respect specific sorts of individual and gatherings accomplishments. Comparing our own culture with different civilization and thinking we're superior to other brings hatred brings hatred for people who have just similar cultures than yours. And the last is communication feeling. Culture impacts how and whether you think about emotions in the public domain or not in the public domain. I guess that's all, and I'll just conclude the topic. And I mean, all the knowledge of cultural orientation and cultural differences help each other and brings peace in the society. And nowadays, cultural orientation is often taught in school, workplace, and in home. But I feel it's the responsibility of parents to teach their children about cultural orientation and make them understand how important, how imperative it is to acknowledge cultural differences. Children are the future to this world. And if they know about different cultures, then there would not be any misunderstanding or clashes in societies. I assume it will lead to a peaceful world wherein everyone will respect each other. Thank you very much.